Welcome back to my channel, Teaching Learning English. In this channel, we mainly talk about business communication, English language, IELTS practice, other writing and academic skills. Today, in this video, I'm going to talk about the writing process. As we have already discussed, writing is a process rather than a product. If you engage in writing on the stepwise process, then you can make your writing effective. So under process also, we have been talking about the different steps. So as we discussed last time, that there are mainly 4 steps in writing. First one is invention. It is a little bit technical term. So invention means in case of science and technology, in case of other subjects and discipline. In writing skills also, whenever we start to write something about, to write some events, some people, some tasks, at that time we need to invent some of the ideas, brainstorming, that we have already discussed. So there is the process, that is IADE. I means invention, A means arrangement, D means drafting and revising, E means editing and proofreading. So yes, it's called IADE approach, IADE process of academic writings, professional writings. If you really want to be a good writer, if you really want to enhance your writing skills for academic purposes at that time, you need to follow this process, IADE. Here we have already talked about invention. How can we invent the ideas? Now let's move to the arrangement. In a very common sense also, when we invent some ideas, some information, some some opinions, logic, fact, whatever we invent, whatever we gather through our brainstorming and other stuffs. Immediately after that, in writing process, we have to arrange those ideas. So what we do under arrangement, arrangement may also differ from the type of writing. What type of writing we are trying to, write. Or let's say, what is our topic? What is the purpose of writing? That may vary the arrangement of your writing process. So let's see something over here from the book, patterns for college writing. Okay, sometimes arranging your ideas will be easy because your assignment specifies a particular pattern of developments. This may be the case in composition class, where the instructor may assign a descriptive or narrative essay. Also, certain assignments or exam questions suggest how your material should be structured. For example, an instructor might ask you to tell about how something works, or an exam questions might ask you to trace the circumstances leading up to an event. If you are perspective, you will realize that your instructor is asking for a process easy, and that the exam question is asking for either a narrative or a cause and effect response. The important thing is to recognize the clues such assignment give and to structure your essay accordingly. Whenever we write for the classroom purpose, for the examination or other stuffs, other professional writings, what we need to know is, after inventing the ideas, how to arrange it. There are also different types of arranging ideas and arranging those information. For example, it may be descriptive. If you are trying to follow the pattern of writing under descriptive, your style of writing, your style of presenting ideas is different in comparison to the narrative. So narrative is different with the descriptive. And sometimes you need to go for the cause and effect type of writing. Sometimes you need to define something. So that matters a lot. After inventing, how do you arrange your ideas? So here we are going to talk about the different types of pattern of writing that we should follow when we are arranging our writing. First one is narration. Are we going to narrate something, some event? or we are going to describe it. So narrating and describing are the different patterns. So while arranging ideas for narrative type of writing or for the descriptive type of writing, it differs from one to another. Sometimes we go for the exemplification, that means providing examples to exemplify something, and sometimes we write for the process, and other time we write for the cause and effect, comparison and contrast, classification and division, and definitions. These things plays very vital role. So under narration, so let's see it one by one. If you are going to write narrative type of writing, the questions are what happened. If you have the questions what happened, at that time you are going to follow the narrative type of writing. Mainly you narrate about the event. In a similar way, what happened, when did it happen, where did it happen, and who did it. So these 4 questions mainly encourage you, mainly guides you, directs you towards the narrative type of writing. You are going to narrate about the events, what happened, and when happened, where happened, who did it. Obviously, if something happened, there are the characters, there are the people who actually commit that events, actually perform some roles in those events. So narrative writings, okay, first one is, if you have the questions like that, you have to follow the narrative writings. And in detail how to write narrative writing, we will talk about it in the next video. Now let's move to the descriptive writing. So you are going to follow the pattern of descriptive writing if you have the questions like what does it look like. Most of the time, what does it look like, we have the question, and what are its characteristics, and what impression does it make. When people actually talk about what it looks like, what are the characteristics, okay, what are the impression does it make, then at that time we are going to write the descriptive type of writing. We can say that descriptive pattern of writing, and it comes under arrangement. And there is another type of writing pattern that is called process writing. So when we go for the process writing, the questions, at that time we are dealing the questions like how did it happen, the process of events, something happened, but how it happened, and what makes it work, what are the process and how are they arranged and how it works, and how is it made. When we talk about the steps, process, and some elements, and we are talking about the combination of those elements, at that time we are following the process of writing. That is very important. And the next one is why did it happen, cause and effect. Why? If somebody asks us the question why, at that time he is trying to find out the reason, cause and effect. This is called the cause and effect type of writing, pattern of writing, and it comes under arrangement. So let me read out some other questions also. Why did it happen? What caused it? What does it cause? What are its effects? If the questions are looking for cause and effect, the similar questions, then we are going to follow the cause and effect pattern of writing. It comes under the arrangement, another important type of pattern of writing. Okay, so we need to recognize what pattern we are going to write. Many students, many learners, they don't know whether they are describing or narrating, even though they know how to write descriptive type of writing and how to write narrative type of writing. But again, once they do not care, they do not notice what type of question is it and what type of writing pattern it is looking for, then they cannot get success that much, even though they know the ideas. They have invented the ideas, information. But after inventing ideas, IADE, I inventing, so here A means arrangement, how we are arranging. So arrangement mainly deals with the pattern of writing, what type of pattern we are going to follow, and what type of patterns people or the examiner is asking for us to write. Very important for the university level students. and very important for those people who are trying to develop their advanced skills of writing. Okay, after that there is comparison and contrast type of writing. The pattern is comparison and contrast. The questions, for example, questions over here for this type of writing is, how is it like other things? For example, there is one thing and how is it like other things? What are the similarities between? And how is it different from other things? That comes under comparison and contrast. We compare something and we contrast something. The question is, how is it look like other, and what are the different, how it is different from other? That is really requiring for the comparison and contrast type of writing. And second last is classification and division. Whether we are trying to follow the writing pattern mainly designed for classification and division, is it the questions, then we need to follow this type of writing. For example, the questions are something like that. What are its parts? If you are asked about the parts, what are its types? Parts, types, then how can its parts or type be separated or grouped? And does it part or types fit into a logical order? Into what categories can its parts or types be arranged? On what basis can it be categorized? If the question is similar like this, you can see inside of the screen also. If the questions like this, then you are writing, you are following the pattern of classification and division type of writing. Last but not the least, definition. Most of the time for the school level students, college level students, and mainly for the professional writer, they have to write the definition. So when to write definition? The questions. If you have the questions like this, for example, how can it be defined? How does it resemble other members of its class? How does it differ from other members of its class? So what is the definition? How can we define? At that time, we are trying to follow the pattern of definition. So my dear students, over here, we have learned the different pattern of writing. And many students do not know these things. And because of which their score, their performance, their result is not that much satisfactory, even though they are very talented. Mainly in advanced writing, mainly in college and university writing, you have to follow this pattern of writing. Number one is narration, description, exemplification, process, cause and effect, comparison and contrast, classification and division, definition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 models of writing patterns, 8 types of writing patterns that you need to follow when you arrange your ideas. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you have idea about how to arrange the idea after inventing your ideas, how to adapt or which pattern of writing is appropriate for you. And if you have any questions, any feedback or comments, please do not hesitate to send me so that we can make this platform more interactive. Do not hesitate for that one. And thank you very much for watching this video.